So, things are not looking great for Law in this chapter. Today we are going over chapter 1063, and it's titled The Only Family I Got. But before that, welcome back to the Straw Hat Duo. I'm Charlie, and let's get right into it. This chapter's cover story is Jerma 66's Cold-Blooded Voyage, Volume 21. It shows Cracker frozen on the ground. Brûlée, or as Luffy likes to call her, Branch, is crying over him with a picture of Pudding over her, and it's titled Pudding's Been Kidnapped. So there's a lot of theories to go on with that. We'll see where it goes. To start out with the chapter, we see Luffy, Bonnie, and Chopper lying there fat and happy. They have stuffed themselves. They're just talking about the food machine, how they're happy with it. Chopper's like, I bet they'll all love the food machine, except for Sanji maybe, which, like I said, I don't think Sanji's gonna like it at all. He's the cook, not some machine. Zoro is going to have some fun with that, though. Zoro's going to be like, what do we even need this rotten cook for now? Yes, Sanji keeps on getting the short end of the stick. Oh well. Vegapunk number 5, I believe. The Vegapunk that was as big as Kaido. She's like, oh, you guys sure can eat. All 4 of you have bulging bellies now. Yeah, but it's just like, mine was already like that. And then there's a recycle dog robot thing that comes through and eats all the trash. Then the Vegapunk looks at him and says, you know, I gotta get back to work now. If I don't run the riot, nobody will. He just goes and starts fighting with a bunch of people in town. Bonnie, it looks like, says, what kind of job is that? And a number of people just kind of walk by. Chopper's like, who are they? Bonnie's like, yeah, they're probably just lab assistants or something like that. Jinbei's like, yeah, this place seemed deserted just a minute ago. Maybe they were just hiding because we seem to be intruders. Or they see them all dressed in like long sleeve jackets. Actually, all of those citizens have the same earpiece type thing that Lilith had. Vegapunk Lilith. Wonder what's up with that. Maybe they're also clones of Vegapunk. So then Luffy runs off, finds I think it's a fashion machine, goes in there and gets kind of a Law type trench coat, but it says SSG at the bottom. It's all black with some white lines pretty much. Bondi looks at it. She's like, nothing beats free clothes after a complimentary meal. Mine are all still sticky from all the seawater. It'll be nice to change. She goes in there, goes, oh, let's see what they can choose from. She presses a button with a battle uniform, and it starts undressing her. And, you know, redresses her in very fan servicey type uniform. Body tight, all that good stuff. Chopper also goes in there. He comes out looking like he doesn't have his hat anymore. But, I mean, apart from that, he pretty much comes out in the same type of uniform as Bonnie, just for a Chopper-sized person. Jinbei, however, comes out in a Hawaiian shirt. He's like, they even have these tropical styles. These would make perfect disguises, but it's probably too late for that. The boots on Bonnie's uniform apparently make her feel like she's floating. So there could be some sort of tech in that. Chopper's just like, it's so futuristic. At this point, Luffy's just kind of sitting up on a building, eating a slice of pizza. Bonnie looks up and says, hey, well, I'm off to find some weapons and deal with Vegapunk. Catch you late. And before she can even finish the sentence, Luffy's like, yep, heads up. Kuma's on the way. It's Kuma. And I believe Bonnie mishears him and says Puma. I believe that was Bonnie that said that. Luffy's like, yeah, is it just me or is he looking for us? Another version of Kuma comes walking up, and he's in a police uniform. Luffy's like, yep, he's gonna attack us. Kuma then, you know, rushes them, shoots a laser at them, and Bonnie looks just frozen in place. They avoid the laser beam, and Kuma, probably in a robotic voice or over an intercom of some sort, goes, provisions and garnets reported stolen. Thieves detected. So Luffy's group, it doesn't specify who says it. Could be anybody because they're all over the screen dodging. They're like, why did it just pop out? If it was supposed to be paid for, you know, why did it just come right out? Luffy's like, yeah, whatever. You know, he wants to fight, so we're going to fight. He gets ready to, looks like elephant gun him. And right before he's able to do anything, Bonnie jumps up, kicks him in the face, knocks him away, and looks like jumps off Kuma to avoid it. Kuma blasts a laser beam at them. They, of course, dodge it, but Luffy gets up and says, "What the heck, Bonnie? Didn't you see his lasers? I've gotta slug him." Bonnie at this point looks sad. She goes, "That's my father." This answers one of the questions that I had last week. If Luffy and them understood who Bonnie's father was. They just heard that he got turned into a cyborg. They didn't know it was Kuma. Luffy, Chopper, and Jinbei are all shocked. They're like, "What? When you said your dad got turned into a cyborg, you were talking about Kuma?" And Bonnie's like, "He's the only family I've got. I'm begging you. Please don't hurt my daddy." And this is a crazy panel because Bonnie is just bawling her eyes out. I'd say this is probably one of the better panels in One Piece in general, just with the emotion portrayed over it and the detail in it. It's a solid panel. On page 9 of chapter 163. Also in that same panel, we get to see Kuma with a child Bonnie. So when she was a child and he was, still around, and he's just lifting her up, playing with her, smiling, they're having fun, but she's kind of breaking down right there in the middle of a battle pretty much. Luffy's like, "You dummy, get out of there. It's just a pacifist." And we see Kuma, what seems to be just shooting at them. After that, we break off to meet with the Blackbeard pirates. And then we see what they're fighting, because they are fighting something, what seems to be in the water. Turns out to be Law's group. So the submarine gets damaged, so they have to surface. They're like, another hit like that, the pressure will crush us. We've got to surface. We got to get out of here. But Law's like, "Yeah, let's surface. There's land, northeast of here. Let's get there and we'll take care of it." And on the very next page, we see Law. But there's just a little bit wrong with Law. Law is not a man in this panel. He is a woman. His crew kind of freak out. Law doesn't say anything, but he's sitting there in his normal pose, holding his sword. He's like, "Prepare for battle and be quick about it." His crew's like, "Wow, Captain, you're so cute now." He goes, "Do you have a death wish?" And they're like, "Yes, sorry. And some of his crew start changing into women. And they're like, "Yeah, keep away from the infected. His power is contagious. They're hoping to disorient us with this forced gender flipping." I wonder how him and Ivankov would deal with each other. Law's like, "It'll be fine though. Our clashes with the Emperors taught me that with devil fruit powers, they can be countered if you use a great deal of haki." They get to surface, and you see Law looking like he's trying to turn Super Saiyan, screaming. Some white lightning comes off of him in this panel. It's not the black lightning from Conqueror's haki, but it is white lightning that comes off of him, kind of depicting the haki that he exerts. At this point, they get to the island, and we see Doc Q, and it's specified that he now has the Sik fruit. We see Van Augur, who now has the Warp fruit, and he teleports Burgess over to the island. Burgess now has the Buff fruit. They've definitely been busy collecting fruits. Burgess sits there, grabs a mountain, rips it off of the island, throws the mountain at Law's crew. It definitely seems like they're trying to kill them, so it's probably not devil fruit powers they're after. Well, later on we see that they're after the poneglyphs, but I don't see why Blackbeard wouldn't want Law's devil fruit. And that's why, like I said, things don't look good for him. Law uses his fruit, takes care of the mountain, either by teleporting them somewhere or just breaking apart the mountain. It's shown, but the mountain looks like it's just broken into pieces. It's not specified how it's done. Who knows? They're safe from that attack. And we see Blackbeard fly over on Stronger, the horse, who has eaten the mythical horse zone fruit model Pegasus. So Stronger is now a Pegasus. Blackbeard's riding on top of him, and him and Doc Q. And Doc Q's like, "Commodore, Stronger says he's struggling to carry the weight. I'm struggling myself." Because Blackbeard's sitting on both of them. So at this point, Law gets ready for battle with Blackbeard and says, "What do you want?" Blackbeard, being, how he is, he's like, "Is that any way to speak to a fellow member of the worst generation?" And then he states the fact that when you, Kid, and Straw Hat all left Wano, I wondered who I would run into first. Looks like you got the short end of the stick. He also states the fact that with Big Mom and Kaido gone, it's going to turn the world on its head. He's all for that idea. He's like, "Yeah, that sounds fun." Then he's like, "Yeah, Kaido, he had a road poneglyph, right? Just how many road poneglyphs do you have? What rubbings have you got? I'll be taking them off your hands." So at this point, Law says, "You took the words right out of my mouth. Let's settle this. Winner takes all." That makes it sound like Blackbeard has a road poneglyph. So, what probably is the case? Blackbeard probably is aligned with Aokiji, it seems. So Aokiji seemed to have gone to Whole Cake Island. I'm guessing that Aokiji got Big Mom's poneglyph rubbing. Blackbeard now has that. Law probably doesn't have that because he wasn't with the Straw Hats when he went there. The Straw Hats could have shared it with him, but there's no guarantee of that. It's more likely for Blackbeard to have it, and that would give Law a reason to fight Blackbeard. However, I don't think we've seen Blackbeard lose a fight, but not one that he's seeking out. Things are not looking good for Law at all. Blackbeard was planning on running into him, Luffy, or Kid. If he prepared for all three, Law, this could be the end of Law. Law could have his Devil Fruit power stolen, which we're still not sure if, as far as I know, if the person has to be dead to take the Devil Fruit power, or if they have to be on the brink of death or anything like that. It could be that Blackbeard could take Devil Fruit power when somebody's been subdued and knocked unconscious or something. Because it doesn't seem smart to kill off Law. I mean, I'm not the story writer, who knows, but it's definitely seeming like Law could be in a lot of trouble. That's the end of the chapter. There's no break next week, if I remember correctly, and I wonder where we'll go next week. We didn't see Zoro at all, so we could just have a chapter focused on Zoro and Sanji, Nami, and Robin, and Frankie, their group, and Usopp. We could focus more on the conflict between Bonnie and Kuma with that group. We could just have a chapter solely focused on Law, or Kid, or Shanks. Or Sabo. We haven't heard from Sabo in a while. Bonnie said something about Sabo. I imagine we'll probably get an update from Sabo before Bonnie says anything, or it'll be in the same chapter. Bonnie will bring it up to Luffy, and then we'll get a cut to what Sabo's doing, or that. Yeah, there's a lot of places this could go for next chapter, and I'm okay with most of them. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think of, the Rule 63, I believe it is, Law, and how much fan art of that you think you'll see. That does it for this chapter, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.